Well, what is the crack? Welcome to Absolutely Marinated, a show where I have a few cans, cook some things, and tell you about it. Today we are making a Chicago-style deep dish pizza, so let's get stuck in, yeah? So we're going to get this show on the road with our pizza dough. First things first is to get our yeast activated. So I've added 1 pack of dry active yeast to 1 1/4 cup of water to about 110 degrees. Play the waiting game, give it a stir around for 10 minutes and you'll end up with something that looks like this, so you know your yeast is good and active. Start your dough, your dry ingredients of the dough, by sifting in 3 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Alongside your all-purpose flour, then flake in a 1/2 cup of cornmeal, the yellow cornmeal, and a good hefty pinch of sea salt. Mix all your ingredients together, and once you kind of see it incorporate a bit, you throw in some softened butter, about 2 or 3 tablespoons. With your butter in there, needed for another 5-10 minutes. You might need to use your hands just to kind of incorporate the butter a little bit better. Let the dough hook do some work for 5-10 minutes until it kind of incorporates and it looks like this. So with your dough done, then we'll oil a bowl, form your dough into a ball, and we'll prove it for an hour with a dry towel over the top of it, or until it's doubled in size. With the dough slapped together, time to address another crucial part of pizza, the sauce. So for our marinara, we kind of want a chunky, fairly substantial, hearty sauce, because it sits on top and it sits in an oven for ages, lads. So into a pot there we have some olive oil and some butter. Get that melted down. While your butter and oil go around the back of the handball, Ali, finely chop 1 onion and, you guessed it, flake it into your butter and oil mixture. Alongside your onions, you'll want 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. Well, I probably flaked in about 8, but you know how I feel about garlic. On top of your garlic, then we'll throw in about a good 1/2 tube of tomato paste. Cook that off, take the raw edge off that tomato paste. That's a crucial part. After you're done cooking off your tomato paste, it's time to season it a bit of black pepper, pinch of salt, bit of oregano, some chili flakes, and a bit more garlic powder too for the crack, lads. Stir that all off, and then we'll throw in top our onions, our fucking tomatoes. We have enough onions in there. So we'll want 1 28-ounce can of tomatoes, preferably San Marzano, and you can crush them with your hands, but I don't have those, so I've just gone in for some fire roasted diced tomatoes. On top of that, throw in a good splashing of water just to help the tomato stew down a bit. The object of this marinara sauce in the cooking process is to cook off as much moisture as you can. Cook it so you're just left with a concentrated tomato flavour, because otherwise your deep dish pizza will just turn into a soupy mess. So alongside that, then we'll throw in a good hefty sprig of basil. And with that bubbling away, we'll start on our sausage mixture. So I have a pound of ground pork. To that, I've added a whole ton of garlic powder. Along with the garlic powder, I like to go heavy with sage, because sage and pork go together like cocaine and waffles, Ricky Bobby.
I'm going fast again! Woo! Woo!
Alongside the sage and garlic powder, I've gone in heavy with some oregano, splash of cayenne, heavy on the black pepper, and then give it a shot of salt. Then what we'll do is then just get our hands in, get them good and dirty, kind of mix them in, kind of squeeze the mixture through your hands. You kind of want to, what's the word I'm looking? Emulsify is the word. Jeez, I had to pause there. Anyways, so we want to emulsify the meat, so we do that with our hands, kind of squeeze it through. Once that's done, throw some plastic wrap on top of it and horse it into the fridge. So our dough after an hour should have doubled in size. It'll look something like this. We'll dust down our prep board. We want to preheat our oven and pizza stone or steel to 480 for about 35 to 45 minutes. Take your dough mixture, you should have enough for 2, split it down the middle and kind of force it into rough shape, the backs of your hands. What I like to do then is to kind of get it to about maybe a 3 or 4 millimeters, which is God knows how many 16ths of an inch. Once your dough is to the thickness you like it and about the right size, take your springform fan. I've pretty much used a 9-inch, I believe, and smeared the whole thing with softened butter or room temperature butter. Once you have your room temperature butter kind of spread throughout the pan, what I'll do is then take a sprinkling of cornmeal, and yes, you're hearing this right, Parmesan cheese powder, and I can assure you it will be absolutely outrageous. Now that sprinkling will also aid in helping the dough release from the pan when it comes to time to take it out of the oven. Carefully lift the dough up at the back of your hands and gently tuck the corners of the dough into the cake pan, like Michael Jackson tucked Macaulay Culkin into bed. You don't want to rip it, lads. You don't want to tear it, because if you have a tear, then pizza toppings and cheese will end up all over the place, and we don't want that, lads. So take your time and do it right. Once you have your dough billie jeaned into the springform pan, take a butter knife and use the blunt edge to trim off the excess dough. And now we're on to the assembly. Lads, as we're using a metric ton of cheese here, we want to keep it low moisture, otherwise your deep dish pizza will turn into a soupy mess when it comes time to cut it into it. So there I put down a layer of mozzarella, I've put down a layer of our sausage mixture, I've put another layer of provolone cheese, another slightly thinner version of the sausage, topped it off with another layer of the mozzarella and a good hefty chunk of our marinara to bring it up to the rim. Now to top it all off, we'll throw on a healthy dusting of Parmesan cheese. So once you have your Parmesan cheese in, horse it into your oven, 480 or as hot as it can go for 25 to 35 minutes. We want to make sure we cook off our sausage, and what will emerge will be something that looks like this. Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labour. Admire that cheese pull, throw it onto a plate, put it in your face hole and enjoy. Lads, this is probably one of the best things I have made on this channel so far. I'd highly recommend, just like I'd recommend liking and subscribing to this channel. Lads, this has been my outrageously good deep dish pizza. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next Friday. Good luck.